Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Alinga Sise of Urban Harvest Organic Farm. For all of you who have subscribed to my YouTube channel, I am so grateful, and for those who are still new, please kindly consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell so that you never miss out any upload, and don't forget to give the video a thumbs up, and don't forget to watch the video up to the end. Today I'm super excited because I'm making the video late in the evening. This is 7 p.m. in the evening, and I wanted to show you first of all at my chicken house how it looks like at night. This is how it looks like. It has been long, by the way, I've not shown you these birds like at this time. And you can see my chicken house is a bit dim. I didn't put so many bulbs because they also say that if the chicken house is too bright, it also encourages cannibalism. So you should always make sure that the chicken house is a bit dim. And here I normally switch off the lights at 10 p.m. So since it is still 7 p.m, it is still early, I can still make the video. And actually this is the time I normally pick the feathers. You can see, like, I wanted to pick some feathers. But before that, I wanted to share with you my experience in this project, how I manage to elevate myself from 400 layers to the current 964 birds. I said 964 birds because in the old chicken house, we currently have 292 birds, and right inside here, we have 672 layers, but all because of the 400 birds that I brought. I can say now coming to 2 years. But keep in mind that those 400 was not the first flock that I ever brought. I started with poultry farming. I started poultry farming way back in 2019. I remember it was around September. It's when I started the project, and that time I had some money that, I started on saved money, for those who know Kameza money in Uganda here, that is what I started with the project. And I built, like, I got interested, too much interested, and I kept on adding money, and I had up to around, I started with broilers, of which I went up to 400 broilers. But since my main interest was in layers, of which I started with 300 layers, I later on brought 1,200 layers. When the 300 was still there, again brought 1,000 layers. So I had almost 2,500 layers, of which I was hit by a disease, of which we are not going to talk about it now because I've mentioned that, I've told that story several times. So now, after that big loss, I again started from zero with 400 birds, of which on the 400 birds, we currently have the 292 layers. But to be sincere, from those 400 birds, I've been able to bring in these birds, of which these birds were 714 in numbers. Is it 14? Yes, 714 in numbers. For some of you who have really followed me from day one with these birds, you know that so many things have happened along the way, and currently I have 672 layers right inside here, of which they are now heading. By tomorrow, they'll be making 13 weeks. And currently, since I debeaked the birds, you can see, this is not how they behave, but to be sincere, they are improving so greatly, because I told you I added feeds like an hour ago, because I got in and almost all the feeders were already done with feed. So I decided to add in some feeds. But these birds are honestly very lively, very active. If not because of the debeaking, you would see all of them would be just running up and down. And from day one, I've not yet been hit with any chicken disease or any poultry disease, but from the 400 layers, I've been able to bring these birds. So currently in total, we have here 964 layers. Now, so I think you've understood the background of the how the 600 and the 964 birds are coming from. Now, I want to share with you how I have managed to elevate myself from that big loss that I made in poultry farming, brought the 400 birds, and currently in total, I have 964 birds. Why I decided to make this video, because last time I told you that those few birds are the ones feeding these very many birds, and one of you was so shocked and so surprised and was so concerned. So that's why I just thought of making a video of this kind and share with you some of the things that I've been doing me as a linger that has really made me to come this far in this project. Remember, I started loving this project way back, I think when I was in primary 5. I was still a young child when I started loving poultry farming. And remember, I am a graduate from Makerere University, and mind you, I was a government student. So you know what it means by being a government student. It means that I was also a very bright child to qualify for government scholarship here in Uganda. But I love this project, and I decided that I'm not going to look for a job. I'm going to do poultry farming. Now, how I have managed is that, first of all, I want to be honest. When I started this project, I didn't know anything about the project. During that time, there were not so many YouTube channels about poultry farming. So many channels have now come up after some of us encouraging you to also start YouTube channels, TikTok channels, to teach people and to create awareness about this project. And I'm so happy that so many farmers are now starting the channel. At least you're sharing your experience. Just like I have said that every day is new things happen in the farm, and everyone have their own experience in poultry farming. My experience may not be the same as yours. Okay, so that is why I'm so excited and so happy that so many farmers nowadays are able to speak up about what they're experiencing in their farms. So the time when I started the project, there were no so many YouTube channels about poultry farming. Farm Up started actually, I think, after when I've already started, like the channel started when I've already started, because I remember even watching the first video, and then Katapsa, these are the poultry farm channels. That the Katapsa farm channel also started a bit late. So now, that time I didn't have any knowledge about the project, and that is how I messed up in the beginning. But now when I brought the 400 bats, I decided to start learning aggressively, okay? Because I was watching so many interviews that these TV stations were interviewing farmers. I was watching more of Dr. Daniel videos, and then I was also reading a lot on Google that time, and that is how at least I got to know so much about this project. And then I also started on using the herbal remedies, especially on those birds that are now 292. That is where I started with the herbal remedies. And actually, I could just get a combination of herbs and try it on those birds. Honestly, I was just trying the combination of those different herbs on those birds, simply because these herbs, our parents have been using them before. And personally, also, I use some herbs, like the ginger, the garlic, the turmerics, the moringa. I've seen my mother use moringa several times when she was diagnosed with diabetes, and I saw how it was helping the neem. So I decided to also try these herbs on those particular birds. So that is how I got all this knowledge about poultry farming. Now, when those birds started laying eggs, the 400 layers started laying eggs. Remember, those are Lomond Brown. When they started laying eggs, honestly, just within 1 month, I think 1 month and a half, let's say 6 weeks, those birds went up to 95% egg production. And I remember I stayed there for some time, long time, before my roof was removed during the time when there was a lot of rain, and with a heavy wind, the roof got off. So that is how, again, my birds dropped in egg production, because after that they also got hit with a chronic respiratory disease, but simply because when it rained in the chicken house, the birds were swimming in the water, the birds were drinking the dirty water, and I think that is what brought the chronic respiratory disease, of which it hit me so badly, and I lost so many birds. I lost, I think, up to 40 birds. I think also there are videos about that. So now, during that time when the birds were still doing so well at 95% egg production, what I decided to do was to save money. And then also I got more interested in the project, because during that time, honestly, I was getting some good profits. And what I decided to do, as me a linga or as a woman, I decided to start saving the money, because I said, you know what, this seemed to be now a turning point for me. So that is how I started being so disciplined with the eggs money. I started saving money. And also, I want to be honest, with the teaching on YouTube, also, of course, YouTube was giving me something. So I kept on saving the money. And then also another thing that made me to come far with those birds, you can see now they have laid for 83 weeks, is because I was giving them the right feeds and the right amount of feeds. Believe me not, me previously, I used not to weigh feeds, chicken feeds, honestly. From day one when I started the project, I was not weighing chicken feeds. I never had a weighing scale. I was just estimating. So guys, weighing these chicken feeds is very, very important. Just like even with these particular birds, this time the weighing actually is very serious. And so many of you have been telling me that the birds are looking so big, as though they are not 12 weeks. You can see the birds are looking really so big. But with those birds, I started weighing the feeds. So I was giving them the right feeds and the right amount of feeds. Me, when I started the project, honestly, I didn't even know how they mix the feeds. I honestly did not know the things that we are supposed to mix. I was totally very blind about the whole thing. I was just there interested in poultry farming, but not digging deeper about the feeds, about the measurements that the birds are supposed to feed on. Okay, I knew that a mature bird is supposed to feed on 120 grams, and honestly, I only knew about the mature birds because I didn't even have the chart for the feeding timetable. I didn't have it. I even didn't have the chart for the weight these birds are supposed to carry from day one. So, but with those 400 birds, I started being more serious with the project. So what I want you to know is that being very serious into something can make you succeed. And then I started being so consistent. Okay? Consistency with using the herbal remedies, because I saw that when the bird started laying eggs, honestly, I started getting double yolk eggs at a very early age. Okay, when the birds had just started laying eggs. And then also the shells of my eggs was very strong in a way that most of the shop owners were appreciating it. And then the yolk was really pure yellow. The eggs were very, very yummy, of which you find like the shop owners always want to come back and buy from me, because they tell me that whenever they buy from other people, clients keep asking that we wanted the other eggs. So I started even getting customers. Me, I have never gotten stuck with eggs. Like from those 400 birds, I did not get stuck with eggs. Now, like currently in the country, eggs is too much in the market. The prices have dropped. But honestly, me, I have orders for eggs that I cannot even meet. But simply because of the quality of the eggs that I have. So I started being consistent with the herbal remedies, and that kept on pushing me. Because even after when those birds got hit with that chronic respiratory disease, I treated them organically. I refused to buy drugs. Actually, I told myself that Alinga, this time, let your herbal remedies save you. I remember I just got my bags, went to Owino, and bought all the herbs for the chronic respiratory diseases. That is why I will always confidently give you the remedies for these poultry diseases, because I have used them and I have seen how they work. Now, Another thing that I decided to be very serious about was working in my farm literally by myself. Previously, I had workers, of which I could enter my chicken house very rarely, by the way, very rarely. Okay, that time I also had other businesses I was doing, but this time around, with the 400 birds, I was still having other businesses, but I was so frequent in my chicken house. That is one thing that I want all farmers to embrace. If you really want to go far with this project, always be present inside your chicken house. Some of this work, be there, even if you're not the one doing it by myself. Now, like recently, guys, you're seeing that we're opening those windows and feeding the birds. I'm not the one feeding the birds. My girl does the feeding. The colleague that we work with here does the feeding from out. But I am always inside the chicken house. If you're always inside the farm or inside the chicken house, seeing what is happening, trust me, you're able to correct so many mistakes that that would have happened and brought the farm down, honestly. So I started being so frequent in my farm, and currently I'm doing the project full time. That is one thing I can tell you. I can assure you that I'm doing this project full time. Okay. Doesn't mean that I'm here every day from January to December or from Monday to Monday. Other days, of course, being a mature person, being a mother, being a wife, some days I go out and then come back. I make sure that in the evening, I'm inside the farm, checking what is going on, what has been happening, which drink I do not have, the water. Because with these workers, honestly, I must be honest. I must be honest. Whether the worker is your sister, whether the worker is your brother, whether the worker is your mother, whether the worker is your father, trust me, they do not understand the dream and the goal you have towards all the goals you want to achieve through poultry farming. Honestly, they do not understand it. So sometimes you might be telling them certain things and they don't understand it. You find that the drinkers are without drinking water. The feeders, the feeds are not being given at the right time. So sometimes you, the owner of the farm, you need to be present. Even during the debaking, during the vaccination, you guys have been telling you that with this particular flock now, these ones, which are 672 birds, have been doing the vaccination by myself, I did be debaking by myself. Every activity happening here, I am available. Even any renovation taking place, I am available. Removing the feathers, I am available. Guys, availability in your farm is very, very important. And then make sure that biosecurity, I was going to forget about this. Biosecurity is also very, very important. Honestly, when I started the project, I was not considering biosecurity. Even still with the 400 birds that are now currently 292 birds. If you come physically, you will not see any source of biosecurity, like a source of foot bath there, like a Benson there. You know, I was preaching about it. Once in a while, I put a Benson there, but if I find that the worker has not even put the disinfectant plus water, I also do not care. But now I'm getting to realize that biosecurity in poultry farming is very, very important, because I think that's why these particular birds, honestly, I'm very serious about biosecurity. You cannot just enter this chicken house, whether you're coming to do any renovation inside or you're coming to bring in anything here. You cannot enter this chicken house without stepping on disinfectant at the door. And then even getting out, you will step on the disinfectant, then you go. This chicken house, I do not allow people to come inside here, even the family members. Okay? Even the family members, including my children, they do not frequent coming inside the chicken house. So biosecurity is really very, very important in poultry farming. So guys, if we really want to go far with this project, let us follow the guidelines. Let us do the right thing. Let us feed the birds well. and let us always be present as the owner of the farms in our chicken farms. Honestly, one thing that I must tell you is poultry farming is a very lucrative project, and if you handle it well, it can really make you very, very rich. Honestly, very, very rich. Very, very rich. Especially if you do the right thing and your birds production go up beyond 90% egg production. Trust me, there is no way that Alinga will fail to bring over 1,000 birds out of these birds. I'll be having these birds when I have 1,000 birds somewhere, or even inside this farm. So that is how I will be able to expand. If I do the right things, I follow the guidelines, and make sure I'm always available in my chicken farm. So that is how I manage. Okay, that is how I managed to elevate my farm from 400 layers to currently 964 birds. So I think for today you've learned something from me. So for today, that is all I had for you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for always coming back. Thank you so much for all your wonderful love and support. Guys, your comments, your advice, coming back and watching the videos keep me going, and it means a lot to me. I really want to say thank you, and may God bless you wherever you are. But if you're still new, please kindly consider subscribing to the YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell so that you never miss out any upload. Share this video, comment in the comment section down below, and I'll be so grateful. See you next time. I love you all. Have a good night. Bye-bye.